Good morning and welcome to Drivetime AZ here on KYCA Radio, right in downtown Prescott, reaching out intergalactically through the miracle of Wi-Fi. Oh. So anyhow, or not Wi-Fi, internet.
Wi-Fi,
yeah.
There you go.
So I'm Thom Tschetter, your host. I'm up from the ranch today, and it's always great to see the guys face to face. Ken, I haven't seen you in months.
I know. I probably look a little older.
We're both older.
No, you haven't aged one bit.
So that was the voice of Ken Freund. Ken has been a longtime friend, and we have a common background in that we're old-timers.
Yeah, and we both never had a legitimate job.
Never had a legitimate job. Yeah, we both were writers. He wrote repair manuals for Haynes and is a master certified technician. We call him the walking encyclopedia of automotive information. And man, I'll tell you what, I don't know what kind of brain you got, but it's like he's got an AI brain. Anyhow, and as I said that, I looked at Desmond because he's wearing his AI glasses. Desmond from Prescott Valley Transmissions is here today. He's the executive producer of the show, which means he writes our paychecks.
No raises this week.
No raises this week. And hey, Des, say hi.
Hello, everybody. How are y'all doing?
They can't reply.
We're doing good. Yay. I'm
I
assuming
heard
everybody's like this.
Somebody raise their hand. Oh, by the way,
we love you, Des.
By the way, speaking of raising your hand, this show is for you guys, all you listeners, and we want you to take part in it. If you have any kind of question or comment about anything automotive, here's the number to call. It's 928-541-1016. A really easy number to remember, I think, because nothing repeats. It's 928-541-1016. And by the way, you might jot that down, put it on your dashboard if you're riding in the car, because that number works on all of the live call-in talk shows on KYCA. It's the same number for all shows. 928-541-1016. We'd love for you to be a part of the show. As I say, it's your show. Back to the introductions. I have Mark Kroll down at the end of the table in the honor seat today.
There you go. Great to be here. Great to have the whole crew back together. We got the band back together.
There we go. We're all together except for Louie. Louie is off to Las Vegas again on some project. But Mark, you own Southwest Truck and RV.
I do.
You told me earlier this week you're getting ready to sell your rental business or the assets of it.
Yeah, we're selling the assets. We were hoping to get it ready for like a Labor Day weekend sale. Didn't quite get there, but we're getting them all detailed. I got 4 motorhomes and 2 trailers and a lot of, we'll call it paraphernalia, even though it's not illegal paraphernalia that goes with it.
Thank you. For clarifying.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's been legalized now, right?
Yeah, and I'm keeping that stuff.
You're keeping that. And then across from me is John Lonis from AutoWorks. You won't find jerks at AutoWorks.
Not too often. So.
Particularly on Saturdays, right, John?
Usually, yeah. Usually not on Saturdays. Yeah.
Yeah. So John's got some stuff going on. What's the latest over there?
Oh, we're just having fun. We hired a couple more technicians. We're just rocking and rolling, staying busy. It's that time of year where customers are getting stuff fixed, ready for school, ready for vacations, ready for travel. So it's been nice just having a full parking lot again, and nice to be able to use the dirt across the street from the shop for overflow parking. So, yep, it's good.
So, John, I have a question for you, and I think everyone else here will chime in on it. You seem to have a lot of luck finding technicians compared to the rest of the industry. It's an industry-wide problem that there's a shortage of qualified technicians, and there's more people leaving the industry than coming into it, and the industry is growing. It's kind of a double-edged problem. Mm-hmm. But every time I talk to you, you've been able to find someone else that you're real happy with.
Oh, yeah.
What's your secret?
Positivity. You have to remain positive, and kind of I go with that law of attraction thing. Is if you whatever you want and you desire, you got to put it out there. You put that vibration out there, and that is what attracts. But also when it comes to hiring
John,
and recruiting,
we're in Prescott, not Sedona.
Well, see,
But
I took a little bit of that stuff from Sedona. I left the wacko part over
crystal power.
there.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
I've got the little crystal thing. Ooh, rub the
Yeah,
type
he has
thing,
a
you know.
vortex under his shop. That's
I-
just
So the
But-
law of positivity. I'm sorry I interrupted
Yeah,
you.
no,
Go ahead.
that's a big part of it, and always recruiting. That's something that I'm part of a coaching company, and they always talked about that, and I didn't really, no big deal. But when you're short, then it takes you a month or two to get somebody, and so I always like to. I've been recruiting like crazy the last 4 months, and I'm now building a bench. So if anything happens, or something slips, like
people
on-
move.
yeah.
and
Like on Monday, I relieved one guy of duty, and on Wednesday, I had his replacement. So have your bench built, and always keep in contact. Even though you're not hiring, tell him you're not hiring right now, but do you mind? I'd like to keep you, in my thoughts. So down the road, if something happens, we can reach out to you. And those people that I like and I keep on the hook, I send out, Happy July 4th. What are you doing? And 3-day weekend, I kind of, twist a little knife. If they're working 6 days a week, it's like, hey, my guys are enjoying a 6-day weekend. How are you doing? And it just stay top of mind with them, so they keep remembering you. Yeah.
So next week, Desmond and I are going to a convention back in San Antonio, and I'm speaking next Saturday, actually. The topic is called 10 Fatal Marketing Mistakes You're Making Right Now. And you just hit on number 10. Number 10
I'm fatal?
is no, you're doing the right things. The fatal marketing mistake, number 10, is not recognizing that recruiting is actually marketing.
Mhm.
And you're constantly marketing to keep that bench, as you call it. I'd call it a pipeline of potential employees in line or lined up and able to contact. But even going as far as like any people are involved in sales or marketing in any business today, normally they have some sort of a way of staying in contact with their customers, whether it's an email program that they just stay in contact occasionally, sending out an email or a text or something. You need to do the same thing with employees that you've interviewed and that you liked, but you just didn't have a slot for right away. Stay in contact with them. Let them know they're still in your thoughts and that if something comes up, you're going to reach out to them. And you just never know when that opening is going to occur. Like you were able to fill a spot in 2 days.
Yeah.
That's remarkable.
I was surprised, too.
It took me 2 years to get my builder.
Yeah.
I interviewed him 2 years ago.
So Desmond, we don't have a caller right now, so I'm going to give you a minute. Tell us what, for those of us who aren't, I shouldn't say us because I was in the transmission business, but a lot of people don't know the term builder. Why don't you explain the importance of the builder position?
Is
in
that
the
like
shop?
Angel Reese? The one, that bricklayer?
Bob the builder.
Bob the builder. Yeah, he's got his tools over there. No, the builder is the gentleman. So we have the way our shop works. We have a foreman that inspects the cars and diagnoses the cars. We have R&R people. I don't want to say men.
R&R means?
Remove and replace. And
Right.
we have guys that's all they do is pull them out, put them back in. And I have a gentleman that does nothing but rebuild transmissions all day in transfer cases.
And tell us what's involved in doing a rebuild briefly.
It's oh my goodness.
I know.
Yeah, I'm making some videos with my AI glasses so you guys can see the reels. But you tear it down, all usually 600-800 pieces of a transmission. You meticulously inspect everything, wash everything, prep everything, replace wearable items like bushings, clutches, slip seals, stuff like that. And then you got to put it back together in the correct order with the correct clearance and the correct inch-pound of torque. If you make a mistake, it's no big deal, just 12 hours of labor and hundreds of dollars of parts and an angry customer.
It's
So
like
that
one of those
position is
those old wooden
insanely
Chinese puzzles that break off into pieces, and you got to
Oh, my
put them back in the
goodness.
certain order.
I don't
Yeah.
think Desmond's old enough to know what that Chinese puzzle is that you're talking about.
Can we say
What'd you
Chinese?
say?
It's,
Huh?
it's, we have to call it an Asian puzzle now, right?
Ornamental.
Yeah. But so that's how things work in our shop, but the builder's position is just insanely insane. And I tell everybody, you got to have a little something wrong with you to work on transmissions. Everything I do is in inch-pounds of torque and 100,000ths of an inch clearance.
So legend has it, Desmond, I don't know if you're old enough to know this, but the guy that invented the automatic transmission committed suicide.
I wouldn't doubt it. I've had a few that made me.
Ken, have you
oh,
heard
Lord
that?
Have mercy.
I haven't, but trivia: who had the first production automatic transmission?
It was Ford.
Cadillac.
Oh no, that's right. It
Oldsmobile.
was.
Oldsmobile, 1940.
Yep.
Oldsmobile did it.
Hydromatic.
Yeah,
Yep.
I
that
remember
started it all.
that term,
Oldsmobile Hydromatic.
hydromatic. Yeah.
Yeah. And Mark, now we've talked about challenges that all the shops are facing. We're coming up, I think, on a break. Oh, and we have a call.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, what a perfect time for this call, Don. We're going to do your call, and then we'll do our first break.
No, he's saying no. Do the
Oh
break.
no.
He's mean. He
I-
cracks the whip on the brakes.
Yeah, Andrew is the one that runs the show, really.
Yeah, he's related to my ex-wife, apparently.
So Don, listen, Don, if you're upset with anyone, be upset with Andrew.
I've
And
seen
by the way, the guy you talked to when you called in, Don, was Scotty, and Scotty's the one that will beam you up to the show when we come back from this break. But our breaks are short. Hang on, Don. We'd love to help you answer your question. And this is KYCA Radio, Drivetime AZ, and you're talking to the crew. And we're back. I'm Tom, the host of Drive Time today. I say today because it's rotating these days. We have John Lonis from AutoWorks. We have Mark Kroll from Southwest Truck and RV. And we have Desmond Creighton from Prescott Valley Transmissions. And we have Ken Freund from
Everywhere else.
the whole industry. Ken is
there
just
you
our encyclopedia of automotive. And Don, thank you for being so patient, staying on the line with your question. It says here on the board, Don, question, brakes and rotors on a Subaru. And I was telling the guys, I think Subarus have brakes and rotors, don't they?
Well, I had a Subaru come through my back wall, my block wall, so apparently they don't all have brakes.
Don, are you there?
I sure am.
Awesome.
How are you today, Don? How can we help you?
I am very, very well, thank you. And I didn't buy the option of brakes.
Oh.
Oh, I thought I
There
didn't
you
know
go.
brakes were an option.
Well, they could be retrofit.
I did get brakes. So
You're-
here's my situation. And none of you guys, your organizations, worked on this brake job. So you're
Okay.
all in the clear.
Oh, we're all relieved too.
Okay.
We were all holding our breath. It's like, oh, what happened?
In September of last year, September 24, I had my front rotors resurfaced and my rear brake pads and rotors replaced. And then sometime after that, going down to the valley on I-17, I don't know, probably February, March, something like that, I noticed that at internet speeds, the brakes sort of pulsated.
Mm-hmm.
And not terrible, but I could feel it.
Mm-hmm.
My wife couldn't feel it, I could. Then a few months ago, I noticed that in city driving, 30, 45 miles an hour, when I'm slowing down, they also pulsate. So, but to put it in perspective, at city driving, extremely difficult to notice. But I notice it there because I'm one of those guys who notice that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, Don, just let me ask you a question. Is it under a fairly light brake pressure or a hard brake pressure that you notice it?
Light.
Light, okay.
And it's more noticeable at the interstate, the 70, 80 mile per hour speeds. But realistically, I'm sure at that speed, I'm pressing a little harder on the brake than rolling up to a stop sign or a stoplight at 30 or 40 miles an hour.
I got a question, Don. Can you differentiate? I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you differentiate whether the pulsation's coming from the front brakes or the back?
I cannot, but I don't feel anything like on my car seat or on the steering wheel, if that helps. But I can't tell. So let me do one more step.
Okay.
I went back to the place that did my initial work in September, resurfacing the front and replacing the rear end, the rear pads and rotors. They did an inspection and said I had hot spots.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then they wanted to do front and back complete brake jobs because they said they don't resurface rotors. But later on, I went home and looked at my paperwork, and that's what they did on my front ones in September. So I went to another place, none of your organization.
Got it.
And had an inspection done a couple of days ago. They said, and I didn't tell them anything about the results of my previous inspection. They said I didn't have any hot spots. And here's dimensions, if this will help you. They say the front brake pads are 9 millimeters and the front brake rotor thickness is 27.4, and the factory spec for that is 26. The rear brake pads are 7 millimeters, and the rear drum rotor thickness is 17.1, and the factory spec is 15.
Yep.
Now, they said also they don't do just resurfacing of rotors. So
Okay, so let's move on with this, Don. Ken's chomping at the bit. Ken's our encyclopedia. He's ready to go.
Go ahead, Ken.
So go, Ken.
Hi. So a couple things. First, background. Rear-wheel drive cars, about 70% of the braking force is on the front wheels. On front-wheel drive cars, it's up near 80%. And so almost all and that's all heat generated. So the heat, the front brakes create a lot of heat. And probably at least I've seen probably 95% of all the warped rotors I've ever seen were on the front. Mm-hmm. It's almost a given that it's on the front. Sometimes you can feel it through the steering wheel when it starts chucking, but it's very common. And the more stop and go driving you do, and the more hills, if you come down long hills with braking and stuff, that puts a lot of heat in. The price of brake rotors over time has actually come down a little bit. A lot of it's most of them are made in China, And most shops now have gotten to the point where there were so many comebacks by when you cut the rotors or resurface them, you put them on a brake lathe and you cut away metal. So that metal that you're taking away used to absorb heat, and it's no longer there. So you now have a thinner brake rotor absorbing the same amount of heat, and it's almost guaranteed that it will re-warp. The metal already has warped. It becomes wavy by a few thousandths of an inch. It's not much. It's just if you visualize it as it turns, it's waving, wavy. It might be just a few thousandths. You can't even see it, but you feel it. So I would suggest that, if you're bothered by it enough, have new front rotors put on. I don't think you need rear rotors or shoes, whatever you have on that. It's almost surely all in the front.
They're doing almost nothing anyhow.
Yeah, they're just along for the ride or
In
the
an
parking
emergency.
brake. Yeah, they work for the parking brake.
Yeah.
So,
John, do you agree?
Yeah, today's brake rotors, they warp. They're made so thin and so light because of the emission standards and the fuel mileage that manufacturers have to do. So they have incorporated a lot of other materials. Back in the old days, you had cast iron intake manifolds. Now you have plastic. They've done the same thing with brake rotors and calipers. The old calipers used to be heavy cast iron steel. Now they're aluminum. They continue to lighten up the weight of the vehicles to get better fuel mileage. And the brake rotors, that's what they've done too, is they've thinned them out so much to where you can't really machine them. And at our shop, we really don't like to machine them because it does take away the metal and the heat dissipation of the rotor.
I'll just quickly wrap this up. Back in the day, we used to take brand new rotors back when they were cast iron, and brand new ones would be resurfaced because
Right out
we
of
couldn't
box.
trust how true they were
Yeah,
from the
They've
factory.
been dropped, yeah.
So
I
have two quick questions before you break.
Mm-hmm.
Both shops that I went to said they won't do just rotors only. They just will do a full brake job. Is that
That's
true
liability.
or common?
Absolutely.
You mean
This
they're
is all-
insisting on pads? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's your liability. If something is to happen, and it's sad that we have to look at this, but as a business owner, I have to measure the risk that I'm going to get sued if something happens. And when you're playing with something as important as the braking system, for me, it's an all or nothing thing. I mean, not that we do brakes, but it's an all or nothing thing. And I send a lot of people away that want partial repairs and stuff just because of the liability.
And besides the liability, it's also the squeaky factor.
Yes.
Is you've got muddy shoes and socks on, and so you go out and you buy brand new shoes and you put your muddy socks back in. That's the same thing with your.
Okay, I got
with your
one last question
pads.
that you guys will hate, but Google says you can do something called potentially cure this by doing something called brake bedding or burnishing, like driving the car 30 or 40 miles an hour.
Yes.
So
And if you want to try
gently
that,
putting
you
the
can
brakes
knock
on.
yourself out, but a shop is not going to do that. A shop is not going to open itself to liability to save $100 at parts.
And to help you with the concept, if the rotor's warped and you got new brake pads on, it's going to take on some of the configuration of the rotors,
The old rotors.
the old rotors. So you put on new rotors, and it's going to wear away the high spots of the brake pads faster.
Another thing with brake pads is the ones you have probably had hot spots in them. That was what created the hot spots, and it changes the metallurgy of the brake, and it also it bakes different parts of the brake pad. So what you might want to do is there's different grades of brake pads, and you might want to go to a higher grade, something that's called ceramic. The ceramic brake pads are more resistant to heat, and they usually last longer too. I would recommend ceramic brake pads.
So, guys, we're up against a break. Don, I hope we've helped you out.
Great, thanks.
You bet. Thanks for the call. Kurt, we'll be back in about 90 seconds. Please stay on. Hey, thanks for waiting, Kurt. This is Drivetime AZ coming to you from KYCA Radio, and I've got a whole panel of experts, Kurt, to help you with your problem. Kurt, welcome to the show.
Thanks for letting me in.
Yeah, I'm sorry we didn't get to you quicker, but that was an important call. You know, brakes aren't optional.
No, exactly, and that's exactly my issue too. And I called you before about it, and now I feel like an idiot. Okay, but, I'm gonna try to end this with a generic question regarding how much fun is it getting parts, opening the boxes and finding the wrong part, and also getting parts. In my case, I have a 1969 C3 Corvette that identifies as a Ferrari Daytona Spider.
Yeah.
And I thought getting a Chevy would be cheap and easy and all that, but apparently the Achilles heel of these cars are the brake calipers, and so I have had numerous new unquote calipers put on that are the original design but remanufactured, and they all have pretty much blowing and leaking and all that stuff, and everybody who touches the car is tired of working on it.
You know what? Here, Ken is sitting here. Ken was part of the design engineering team for that car.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I take back everything I said.
No, we're going to beat him out back. Don't worry.
No, but I did know Zora Arkus Duntov.
Awesome.
Who was the engineer for the engines on the early Corvettes.
Okay, but you said you had the answer to this problem, too.
There's a company called White Post Restorations in Virginia, and you can Google them and it'll come right up. And White Post Restorations is a specialist in Corvette calipers, and what they do is they machine them out, and they put a stainless steel sleeve in the bore, and they put stainless steel caliper pucks in, and that will be the end of your problem.
Nice.
Huh.
And if you also switch over to silicone-based brake fluid, which you have to really flush the system, that works very well in conjunction with that and acts as a lubricant. Regular brake fluid absorbs moisture from the air, and you get rust and corrosion in your all the cast iron parts in your brake system.
Okay.
So what are you putting, like ultra black silicone in with your brake fluid, or the blue stuff? What are you putting in there?
No. You never heard of silicone brake fluid?
No, I haven't. I'm sorry. I was joking with you. But
silicone brake fluid is dot 5.0.
Oh, okay. I've seen dot 5.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's what it was.
Don, is that news? Or Kurt?
Yeah.
Is that news to you?
I watched an old video on YouTube. I think it was Lucas testing their newest brake fluid going over some pass in the Alps.
Mm-hmm.
And they were demonstrating how their new fluid was able to absorb heat better. Like you're talking with the previous caller, heat is an issue. But, I don't track time this car, but it has massive, wide rotors on it.
Mm-hmm.
So Kurt, does that answer your question, White Post?
Yeah, it pretty much does. It's still staying. That's if I wanted to stay original. But then, of course, there's all these aftermarket companies such as Willwood. And do you all have any opinions on that, or Bear, or maybe Brembo, or something like that?
Well, Willwood is based in Camarillo, California.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been to their facility, and it's almost like aerospace quality. And they build a lot of stuff for race cars, and you'll see them on Bonneville cars. The other brands you mentioned, Bear is a German company, BEHR, and then Brembo is an Italian company.
Okay.
And they also make quality parts. They're ISO 9001 certified. But so you're not going to go wrong with any of them. But honestly, if you just drive around, close to the speed limit, and you drive the car like a normal person, your original brakes will be fine. If you have those calipers redone with stainless, and you have the brake fluid, the silicone dot 5 brake fluid, that has a very high boiling point.
So for the rest of us that like to have fun, my personal S10 that I'm building, 700 horsepower truck, I'm putting Brembo brakes on it all the way around.
Okay.
Yeah. Got to be able to stop that speed.
So you're a fan of the S10 pickup. I have a friend who has a bunch of them.
Yeah, I got a supercharged 6-liter in mine.
Oh, okay, a little bit updated.
It'll move.
But it's not a typhoon or a cyclone.
No,
Yeah.
no.
But it'll pass them.
Yes, I'll wave to them. Bye.
So,
Yeah,
Kurt,
I watched one at an autocross, and they were a little bit big.
Kurt, it's always a pleasure to have you call in.
Thanks
Thank
for
you for
calling.
calling.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Yep.
Have a good weekend.
And we're going to have to go to a break, Kurt. If
Again?
there's something else you want to talk about, you can hang on through the break.
Awesome.
It's all right. I'll hijack the show if I do that.
Okay.
You're welcome to do that anytime. Take care, Kurt.
Okay.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for the
Thank you.
call.
Bye.
So, folks, this is Drivetime AZ, the only live automotive call-in talk show in northern Arizona. And we're on KYCA. And the phone number to call in, 928-541-1016. 928-541-1016. Cue that into your phone, and you'll talk to Scotty in a minute when you call in. Take care. Back. This is Drive Time AZ here at KYCA Radio in Prescott, and we are. Am I wrong?
Where?
No, you're good, Tom.
Yeah, I almost said down at the ranch.
I tell you, folks, you should listen to these conversations we have during breaks. They're so entertaining. Tom was speechless. He was just like, "What?"
At any rate, thank you for the calls we've had. If you want to be a part of the show and call in like the other fellows did, 928-541-1016. We were talking before the show, by the way, that we have a lot of lady callers, and we normally get a lot of ladies who call in, and it's very flattering for us old guys. So any
I think
ladies
they're
out
saving it
there,
for the lady shows now.
yeah, maybe you're saving it up now for the ladies show. They'll be on the third weekend of September.
And I'm not sure.
The 25th, I think it is. At any rate, they aren't on today, so if any of you ladies have a call, feel free to call in. Have a question, feel free to call in. 928-541-1016. And Desmond was looking over an article that Ken found this week on the internet and shared with us regarding the dreaded 10-speed Allison transmission. What was the problem and what was the fix?
So the valve body is the problem. There's a valve wearing out, and I give GM credit this time. So it's been an issue. Trucks have been sitting at dealerships for months and months and months. The valve bodies are non-existent on national back order. This is a constant problem. The wheels lock up while you're going down the highway towing a big 40-foot travel trailer.
Not very handy.
Yeah, would that
Little-
be a problem?
Well, yeah, and what could be wrong with that? Anyway, the aftermarket world has just released. We're talking within the last 2 months. Just released ways to fix this valve body, and GM, for the first time in almost 40 years, has authorized a aftermarket repair under factory warranty. So I give GM credit, all the credit in the world. Thank you, GM. Sonics came up with the valve to fix this problem, and so now these people can have their trucks back. Some trucks have been sitting for almost a year at the dealerships waiting to get paid. I've had people call me, and it didn't matter what I charged them. They needed their truck up and running.
So the last time they authorized the use of an aftermarket product to resolve a problem was a similar situation. They couldn't fix it. And I was actually doing consulting for the company. It was LubeGuard International, and they came up with something called Shutter Fix.
I still use it.
And it's
today.
just a tube of stuff that you squirted into the oil that resolved the problem, and they wouldn't admit it. They wouldn't admit that it was that simple.
I imagine Generous Motors wouldn't admit it.
No.
Was that on the differentials?
Different. And the
Torque converter.
torque converters.
Okay.
Primarily the torque converter clutch locking up. Anyhow, I digress because I was a part of that one, and Desmond, you've been a part of this one. That's how many years have gone on between.
Wow. Oh, we got some time in between us. But I'm just happy that these people with these 10 speeds can get these cars fixed.
Yeah.
I know that lady called last week and was really upset with us and was chastising us about bashing the manufacturers.
German manufacturers.
And not just German, it's every single one of them. But I'm not buying a new car for a reason. I could go buy whatever vehicle I want. I'm still keeping my 19 for a reason. These new ones are not impressing me at all. And the stuff that I'm seeing. I just delivered a truck yesterday, 37,000 miles.
On a new and you need to rebuild the transmission.
Needed a new transmission.
Just out of warranty.
37, and that's exactly what they told her.
1,000 over.
Sorry to hear that.
Wow. So these transmissions are commonly found in diesels, and we don't get very many things about diesels. And,
I know.
And Mark sits over there pouting through the whole show.
I'm not
And
feeling the
twiddling his
love.
thumbs.
You're getting love now because Ken also found an article out of the RV Association, right?
RV industry, yeah.
RV
Yeah.
industry.
All right. And Ken has some knowledge of this, and you have some knowledge of it. Why don't you, the two of you, take it away?
I spent 30 years in the environmental services industry, so I know a little bit about EPA and other three-letter swear words. And they introduced the DEF system and diesel particulate filters to reduce emissions.
DEF means what?
Diesel exhaust fluid.
Okay.
Oh, man. All the muffler bearing jokes. Now we got exhaust fluid.
There you go. So, and they recently came out and they provided voluntary guidance for vehicles that are 2026 and older, that you can adjust the software in those vehicles. So when you start having trouble when your DEF system's too low, DEF fluid level's too low, and you start having trouble, it won't, after 30 miles or so, it won't do what we call derating and then get down to where you can only go 5 miles an hour. And we have common problems with that. So now you can go much further than 30 miles. And when it does derate, it goes down to 25 miles an hour because they found out that you're 30 miles into it, you didn't know you were low on DEF fluid, and all of a sudden you're going 5 miles an hour. It could be a safety issue, almost as bad as the transmissions locking up. So that is good news.
So the good news is they don't have to do it anymore, or what?
No, the good news is they have to do it, but you get much longer window to run low on DEF. And when it does derate, after the longer window, either in terms of miles or hours. It's not going to go to 5 miles an hour. It's going to go to 25 miles an hour.
So you just creep into a place to get the depth at that point.
And
So,
it would be particularly acute if you're going up a hill. And it's true of big diesel engines like diesel pusher RVs and semis. So imagine you're in a semi with a load on it. You're going pretty well, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're 5 miles an hour.
so some of these slow rolling trucks may be because of this, not because of.
I don't know if I want to make that connection.
No.
But
All right, and Ken, you have some thoughts on this too, right?
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful improvement because in the RV business, I get a lot of letters from readers of the magazine, and we had a lot of people that had huge problems with this. There was a run of bad sensors in the DEF tanks, and it wasn't the tanks were full and they had the right fluid in them, and they were still derated to 5 miles an hour. And some of these happened on, people were up in Yosemite or Yellowstone and hundreds of miles away from help, and they had a car on the back, and they had to be towed hundreds of miles because of a bad sensor that caused the engine to falsely derate.
Yep. And you have no idea what a tow bill is until you have a big
a 40
vehicle
and a
broke
car
down.
on the back.
Yep.
And they probably
hundreds of
don't even
miles
know that
away.
it derated. They think there's something wrong with their vehicle,
It
right?
would and it would happen quickly. They'd get towed in, and then come Monday morning, the shop would check it, and they'd go, "Oh, well, it's a bad sensor." Okay, well, why don't you slap a sensor? No, they're on national back order.
Oh boy.
It's been several months, and we haven't been able to get any. You can park it over there with the other row of motorhomes that are stuck here.
It was that bad.
and
Yeah.
we've had more than a few that fit
Yeah.
exactly that description.
Yeah, they were on national back order.
Holy cow.
That's why I
And you
laughed
said
when-
something during the break about pouring water in or something.
Well, the sensors have two jobs. One is to see if it has the correct fluid in it, in the tank, in the DEF tank, and the other one is to see if the level is correct. If it goes empty, it's supposed to give you a warning, and if someone has tried to put water in to cheap out and avoid paying for the DEF fluid, it catches you on that too. It measures the percentage of concentrate in the fluid. I've also seen situations, if you go to truck stops, they have the DEF fluid in a tank right next to the diesel fuel, and I've heard situations where knuckleheads put DEF fluid, which is basically water and urea, into the diesel tank and severely damage the.
Now you got a problem.
That's a complete fuel system.
And I
Yeah.
take offense to that because you just called a couple of my customers knuckleheads.
Okay, so you can tell
But
us
how
about
bad
that.
is that bill, Mark? I've heard stories of $10,000 to $15,000.
I was going to say, just off the top of my head, both of them were 5-figure bills, and one around $12,000, $13,000. And one of them, the guy did it, and he didn't get it fixed.
You got rid of the motorhome.
Yeah.
I'll be darned. Guys, we're up against it again for another break.
Man, he's mean.
Boy, this is really something.
Yeah.
Fastest show on the radio.
Amen.
So this is Drivetime AZ here in Prescott on KYCA. This is our last break, and we'll be right back in about 90 seconds. Well, welcome back for the last segment, and we have a caller to wrap things up. Another Subaru. That's
Wow.
amazing.
I'm telling you.
The
what are the
Subaru
odds
is
of
supposed to
that?
be the top-rated car on the road, and it's the most frequent brand that we deal with here on the radio show.
I'm telling you.
Anyhow, a seal question. Imagine that, John. A Subaru that might have a leak.
No, they
And-
never leak.
And welcome to
come
the
on,
show.
guys.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Hi. You have a Subaru with a little leakage?
Yeah, they told us that we need a complete engine reseal,
Okay.
and it's a 2013. It doesn't even have 100,000 miles on it yet, and I see Subarus all over town, and I think, I wonder if all of them leak, because everybody's telling us that Subarus are prone to leaking.
Yeah,
So-
if they don't have oil in them, they don't leak.
I
No,
think
they do. They are pretty prone. But John, I think this is a better question for you because I know
yeah.
John's like putting his head down. He's like,
He
and
loves,
we're not bashing Subaru because
no,
Subarus
no.
are great.
He
cars.
loves Subarus. They are the number one rated car right now.
Absolutely, but do they leak?
Yeah, no, Subarus do leak. It's kind of like a Harley Davidson or a Jeep. They mark their territory. That's kind of how we nickname them. and it's cute that you brought that up because I just had a customer come in yesterday. She's been a long-term customer, and she just got rid of her Kia. So yay for that. And she bought a Subaru Outback. And she's only got 22,000 miles on it. I was like, great. Do buy the extended warranty because usually around 80,000 miles, you're going to start seeing a drip on the ground. They are very common for the head gasket to start leaking oil or the valve cover to start leaking oil. Now, wherever you went, they want to do a whole complete reseal. At that point, I would just do another engine just so that you got a new fresh engine. But we don't, go for the whole reseal type thing of the Subaru engines. We'll see what's actually leaking. If it is the head gaskets, it's reasonable to go ahead and do those, and then you're going to get the valve cover gaskets, timing cover seals, and all that stuff is included when doing that head gasket job. So it is a pricey job, but they are known. That's what Subaru is just really strong for, is they're going to mark their territory, so you're going to see a little drip.
They're going to run forever though.
Yep,
Yeah.
but they do last,
So you
and
don't have
they're
to worry
great
about that.
all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive cars, yeah.
And haven't I heard this before, that if it's just a slight drip and it's coming from the valve cover, live with it for a while?
Yeah, I mean, it depends all on the customer. I mean, you don't want it to go for a long period of time and cause, more extensive damage. But have it looked at, have it rated, and it's up to you. I mean, sometimes I have in the past told customers, buy those big cookie sheets that are like 2 feet wide and 3 feet long. If it's marking up your concrete or cobblestone driveway,
Oh,
just slide that in there.
Or,
Oh my
or do you
goodness.
have a
Ready to
gravel?
fix it.
Do you have a gravel driveway?
don't worry about it.
Yeah.
If you have a gravel driveway, you're all set. Just keep adding oil.
I
You're all
was thinking
set
about
as
my
long as-
pavers. I was like, no, not the paver.
Yeah, until the EPA comes in and wants to inspect your driveway.
Yeah, well, and Ken just assumed you have a rake.
I gotta ask one question. And did you only get one opinion?
we have another one scheduled for Friday.
Awesome. I'd get a second opinion, and just if you're doubting, it's never a bad idea. Just to make sure that everybody's on the same page and
Yeah.
seeing the same things.
Right.
Yeah, and the complete engine reseal is overkill for sure.
Yeah.
For it, but we don't know. We're not there.
Right.
It could be
We
leaking
haven't
from
seen
the
it.
rear main seal. It could be leaking from everywhere.
Yeah,
We
I
don't
mean,
know.
they could be saying that because they got to pull the engine out anyhow or something.
Yeah.
But anyhow, you know what? This is Tom. When I put this show together, I personally vetted all the guys that are on it, and if I were you, I hate to sound self-serving here, but I'd let John over at, or not John personally, but his team over at AutoWorks take a look at it. They're familiar with it.
But you're on the right track. Get a second opinion from wherever you went. I mean,
Yeah.
And then if there is a difference, then let's get the third opinion and get the deciding factor at that point. But if they're
Yes.
both saying the same type of thing, then it's probably pretty accurate. But if they do say that it is the head gasket that's leaking, 80% of the seals are going to get replaced when they are doing the head gaskets.
Yeah.
So telling you that it's a complete motor reseal, that just kind of sounds
That's-
more scary.
That's shotgun approach.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
scary.
I wouldn't
sounds
do
scary.
that. John's on the right track here. I would.
But again, we
oh.
gotta be neutral. We
Get
are
it-
not
yeah.
there. We are
Right.
not
Yeah,
seeing
but
what they're seeing.
I
Yeah.
would fix what is actually leaking and not
Right.
fix stuff that's not leaking. When the seals get old, they harden. The rubber hardens, and that's why they go bad with time, not just with miles. So you can have a low mileage car that's leaking, because the rubber has aged out from the heat and from ozone and stuff. And
That's the reason I don't work on classic cars.
And
They
hard.
don't drive them,
yeah,
and the seals actually get stuck
yeah.
to whatever they're sealing, and then as soon as you start moving, it rips the seal away.
Yeah.
And the last thing too is you did say that you're at 100,000 miles, so there is a big 105,000 mile interval that's coming up too.
Hey,
So
and,
while we're doing this,
I'm not at 100,000. It's like at 85.
right.
oh,
Yeah.
I guess
And
right at 80.
I've got to
Yeah,
cut
really.
this off. We're down to like the last 10 seconds of the show. So, Ann, thank you
for
for your
calling.
call. I hope we've helped. You can call me off the air at 480-773-3131. Go out and have a great week. It's going to be a great week to have.